Hi, everybody. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I think I have a great presentation for you. It's about Strie finishing. So, my name is Patricia Skelton. I am an artist in residence for Amy Howard and also a decorative painter. So, I'm just so pleased to see you, and I really hope that you will um, join me as I show you this presentation. Let me know where you are calling in from or viewing in from. I live in North Carolina, and I'd like to see where you're viewing from, as well as if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I will get back to those as soon as I complete the demo. So, um, first thing I want to do is I'm going to show you a picture of the inspiration. We're on a new platform tonight, and so um, making sure that you can see everything. We'll be learning as I go. This is a Strie finish for a wall. You see that often in the application. You can use the same application on furniture as well as creating your own art. Strie really is the finish, which means dragging. And when you're dragging the paint, you're creating a soft linen-like fabric. So that's what it's recreating. Oh, I see a couple of people popping in. Birmingham and Wisconsin. Hello, Angela and Ellen. If you have any questions, please let me know. All right, so the piece I selected for my entryway is a drop-down table. You can see this one has had better days. I love a drop-down table, and the reason why is when you're coming in with groceries or shopping, you can pull out your additional level, and that way you have a lot more room on the front entry. And it also is practical because if you have additional guests, then that's something that you can bring out and show everyone. So the completed sample that I did for you is this right here. This is Strie. Hopefully you can see. It's very, very subtle. You are using two paint colors of the same tone, but you want to make sure that there is a difference in the level of hue so that you can see the variance. So let me show you which colors I selected and what products. The first thing is, this is Amy Howard's chalk paint, and this is Bergère Blue. You can see it's all over my can. One Step chalk paint is fantastic. It's no priming, no sanding, no stripping needed. It doesn't mean one coat, but it is one step because you can do everything that you need. And so with that, it just creates a beautiful finish. For the top coat, what I did is, this is Page Blue. Page Blue is the lightest blue that Amy carries. And sometimes in really bright lights in the studio, it looks almost white, but it's a beautiful pale blue. So the contrast between this and the Bergère Blue, which is a blue-gray, I think made a beautiful combination. Now, the game changer for these products, of course, is going to be glazed over. Glazed over. This, of course, will seal your project as well as chalk paint. Chalk paint, actually, you do not have to seal either. But the glazed over will seal your project because I'm using this as a table in an entryway. I added Mind Your Own beeswax. So let me show you that. This is a buttery satin finish, easy to apply. Just rub it on with a lint-free cloth, and it gives great protection to your furniture or anything that you really want to create. So The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start with a raw piece of wood. And this is what I'm going to be using. And I just trying to figure out, let's see if I can change the settings. All right. Settings, camera. Okay, I figured it out. So you got a quick picture of my studio where I'm trying to block out additional light so my glasses won't glare. Okay, so we're starting with a piece of raw wood. So there's nothing to do to prep it. And first coat is going to be the Bergère blue. And this is a blue-gray. It's gorgeous color. Okay, I like to use Amy Howard's brush to put this on. This is 1.5 and this is synthetic. The chalk paint, of course, one of the tips is turn it upside down the night before, and that way you make sure to get all the yummy goodness to the top and then a quick stir. This is one of the things you can see how beautiful this just paints. It's such a smooth finish. This is a very thin piece of plywood. I've got it on top of another board, but because it's so thin, I like to do the ends first and then pull the paint. And that really helps keep it from, that prevents it from spilling over on the sides. Okay, and you can see, it depends on what you're painting over. Sometimes if you're doing a previous painted piece of furniture or stained, you may need 2 coats. In this case, I'll only need 1. This is how it looks. I'm going to stick my paintbrush in some water. And I have a piece already ready to go. And you can see not much difference, but it does deepen a little bit in color. Now, no sanding is required when using one step, but for this, see if I can get you a little bit closer to the project. There we go. So for this, one of the things that you can do is I always put my hand across something, and because this is a plywood, it might require a finishing sand, which is 220 grit. You just come across it very gently. Also, since this is just a sample, I'm not going to have to worry. One of the tips, I just saw this on Instagram, is if you cut one slice, fold it in 4s, bring this over, you'll have sandpaper on sandpaper, and therefore it doesn't slip or slide while you're trying to sand. Okay, then we'll just use a lint-free cloth. Make sure that there's not any dust, and we are ready to go. All right, so next what we're going to do is I already have put in the page blue, and I'm going to add to that. This is 2 tablespoons of page blue. I'm going to add to it my glazed over. This is a thin, translucent finish. Glazed over is beautiful for adding depth to other painted pieces. You can use it with one step, you can use it with milk paint, you can use it with mica. And then recently, I learned from Amy that you can even use your mica, put in less, and it creates a gold paint. And on the piece, you'll see what I did is create a gold paint with a bit of copper. All right, so there's a lot of different recipes out there. If your paint's really thick, you probably want to go with adding 1 water. So match it 2 to 2. or if you use 1 tablespoon, you're going to use 1 tablespoon of water. In this case, I'm using 3 to 1. So 3 tablespoons of glaze to 1 tablespoon of my paint. My paint has been closed up. It's brand new, so it's not thick. It's not too thick. All right, so we are ready to go. To put this on a large table, I used a roller for this small sample. I'm going to use a sponge brush. Okay, and did it the same way. Just came over, started on my sides, and then came back across to go with my grain. Okay, you want to get it completely covered. It's a little more, obviously, it's a little more challenging when you're using a camera. All right, so I'm going to raise the camera just a bit so I can do the next step. All right, so both of my brushes that I use came from Amazon. This one is for a Strie finish, and you'll see, I thought it was a beautiful finish that it created, but it wasn't quite the look I wanted, but it does help pull some of the paint. One of the things is you have to use a dry brush. So if you're using a big table, you want to make sure that what you're using is something that you have 2 of. And this from Amazon, it came with 2. Let me pull that a little closer. So you can see the lines on this. Some are large, some are small. And this is beautiful too. Now this brush also came from Amazon. This is a wallpaper brush, but it's also called a linen brush, meaning it's to create a linen-like fabric. So when you're using this, you want to start, let me raise this. It's a big brush for a little piece. Okay, so you want to come over and you're going to start off the edge of the piece, and you're going to be firm and hold the brush flat. You can go slow and pull, and you want to make sure that you pull all the way across. Then you can come back. I wouldn't recommend more than once, more than one time pulling it. All right. So that was pulling it once to pull the paint and then a second time. And so that's the finish that you get. And when it dries, this is the finish. So it's a simple finish to do, but one of the things about it is it does take a little practice. It takes a little practice to get the edges correct. And because you are rolling it on, if you're doing a big project, then of course that makes it a little more challenging as well. So I'm going to take you out of my camera holder. And I'm gonna, I always like to show value on how Amy's products can really do a lot of different things. So this is using it as Strie on a wood board to create art. And I just did the signs in the beautiful bergère blue. And then, of course, that's gold leaf. This is the gold paint created. And you can see the finish. Let me come all the way out so you can see the front entry. Now with a front entry, I love art, something to drop your keys in, a candle, flowers. Typically, if this were set up at the front of my home, it would also include a lamp. Then let me come down, show you the entire piece. And it's so subtle. And then this is the side. And so the Strie finish is the entire table. And then I've added additional details for it. Everything is Amy Howard products. Okay. Okay, there you are again. And learning a lot tonight with my new camera. So hopefully, hopefully it went well where you can see what I was doing. And if you've enjoyed my product today, I hope that you also will join me on Instagram. I'm at Window Restore, and I'm also on Facebook, Patricia Skelton. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really love being able to share with you, and please share back with me and let me know if you try this and what you try it on. Send me a picture. Okay, thank you so much. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.